Hey guys, let's talk about what materials we're going to be using for the new school year. Alright guys, welcome back. I'm Laura Wilkie with Down Home with Lemon Pie. I'm a Christian stay-at-home homeschool mama of 7, and it is already to the new school year. I cannot believe it. It is 2024 and we are going into the new year. I am excited for that. I am excited for all of you guys starting as well, because this is just an awesome time to be homeschooling in our world. And so we have so many options, so many resources available to us. And I want to share with you guys what we have chosen for this school year. We're going to be starting right after Labor Day, so we still have a couple weeks, and I'm still collecting a couple things. So some of them I will show you here in person, and some of them I will just put a little picture up because either they're in storage or I haven't received them yet in the mail. So let's get started. Right off the bat, this year I am going to be having an 8th grader, a 6th grader, a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, twins in 1st grade, and we have a 2-year-old who will turn 3 during the school year that is just tagging along. So that is a full plate. We have a little bit of everything, and we do Charlotte Mason homeschooling. Just a little background for you guys. And because we do Charlotte Mason homeschooling, I have grouped the children into little age groups. So when I say Form 1, I am referring to everybody who is 3rd grade and down. So in my case, I have a 3rd grader, 2 1st graders, and my toddler, who doesn't really count, but she's there, having fun. Then I have Form 2. Form 2 is 4th grade to 6th grade. So that is what I'm referring to when I speak about Form 2. I'll be referencing these often, so I want to make sure we're really clear that I will be referring to my 6th and 5th grader, but it is include 4th grade as well. And then my Form 3 kiddo is my 8th grader. So when I talk about that, that's who I'm referring to. I am going to go through our subjects that we are doing together. These are like our family subjects. They're also the ones that I would consider more of our core subjects, because they're the ones that I feel are much more prominent and more important. This is not our individual subjects like math and reading. Those will be separate videos. This is also not going to be like our table time subjects, is what I kind of call it, or our morning time subjects. Well, some of these actually do fall into that, but for the most part, these are more of like our core subjects. Okay, so like history, science, geography, those kinds of things. That's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. All right, so if you've been following me for a while, or even just a little while, if you followed me last year, you know that last year we started something brand new with history, and it was Mystery of History, but we started it at volume 4 because in our timeline that our family had been working through, that's where we were. So that's where we started, and I absolutely adored it. I loved it so much. It is so good. It's so thorough. And prior to that, we had been doing Story of the World, like most recently prior to that, and I liked Story of the World. I liked the story format. I liked that it wasn't real textbooky. And when I switched to Mystery of History, it was because I wanted something that was more biblical, something that touched on different aspects in the world that were related to faith. And I was excited that Mystery History does that. I do have a video, I will link it below, going through more in depth of Mystery of History if you're curious about that. But that is what I'm going to be doing with my Form 2 kiddos, which actually is my Form 2 and 3. She does join us with that for history. So this will be my 5th, 6th, and 8th graders, and we are starting back over at the beginning of the timeline. So this one, we are going to be doing Mystery of History Volume 1. I am excited for this, really, really excited for this, because when we went through this particular time period previously, we used Story of the World and some other random resources that I had found, and it was good. but it was really draggy, and I was really let down because leading up to that year, I had been so excited to learn so much about biblical history, and then I felt like it was a little bit of a letdown when we got to Story of the World. And I'm excited for this one to see where we go, to jump in. I'm really excited about it. I can't stop talking about it, but it is really going to be exciting. Yeah, so I haven't looked too much into this one. I'll just show you a little bit. I haven't looked too much into this one yet, as far as there are resources you can get, additional reading resources if you want something like that. And I do want to dive into those, and I will do that. And I will give you guys some reading list videos that I'm going to be creating for my kiddos. I did that last year, and my daughters are already requesting that I do that this year, and I like to do that because I like to find things that kind of pair up well with what we're studying, the time period and such. So I'm excited. So for Form 2 and 3, we are doing Mystery of History. Yay, I'm excited for that. For Form 1, okay, so we do a lot of Ambleside. We have slowly been moving more and more into Ambleside online curriculum. We've always used them for ideas and resources and suggestions, but I am moving more and more of that direction. In previous years, we've used Heart of Dakota, we've used My Father's World, always Charlotte Mason, but now we are going to be going a little bit more into Ambleside. So if you also use Ambleside, you'll probably recognize some of these resources. And for Form 1, though, the way they do history in Ambleside is they have different books, like I think 4 or 5 for history, and they read a little bit from each one throughout the whole school year. And I really wanted to include this particular book that I did with some of my kids way back, my oldest 2 girls way back, and I really wanted to include it, and it's not on their list. So I am going to be dividing ours up a little bit differently. So because we're Charlotte Mason homeschoolers, we do something where we divide our whole school year into terms. Roughly 12 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks per term, and 3 terms per school year. So that's what we do. So I really wanted to include this here. It's History for Little Pilgrims. I love it so much. It's by Christian Liberty Press, and it's a short book, but it is so thorough. I learned so much from this book when I went through it with my oldest 2 girls when they were very small, and I just really, really like it. There is a little like coloring book or worksheet book or something that goes with it. I've never used that. I just use this, and it's perfectly fine. But I love it. I love it so much. These are the topics that we're going to be hitting right there. And it has this story. It's done the same way in story form. And then at the end of each section, there's like little words to know, things to do, and questions that you can ask and check for their understanding. I really wanted to include this in our history this year. Yeah, it was just something that I felt like I learned so much, and I felt like it would pair up perfectly with our Mystery of History with the bigger kids. So I'm excited to add this. So this is actually, I was hoping to do this for Form 1. This is 15 lessons. And I was thinking like once a week because I have some other things planned, and that's not really going to line up with my 12-week turn. So that's where I'm talking about. It may kind of overlap a little bit, and that's okay. Some of the other books I want to include, we did this before, I did this with my girls and my boys. Stories of Great Americans for Little Americans by Edward Eggleston. I'm excited to bring this. Probably this will be more like term 2, but these are just cute, kind of like hero stories about the people throughout history that have made an impact. There's Jefferson, there's some Daniel Boone, Washington, just little stories. They're all short enough that you could read 2 or 3 even at a time, but I just really, really love them. This book is an old book too. It's from 1895. So if you are following the crazy things going on in the world like I am, you know that our books and things are not always accurate, especially the newer they are. So I do like finding these older ones. So this one's been reprinted, and it's a good one. I would recommend this for sure. I do have some other ones that I'm looking at, and I don't have them right here to show you guys, but I'll tell you One of them is History Stories for Children. I love this one too, and we've used this one in the past. We used it alongside Stories of the Pilgrims, so I may save those for next school year. I'm not sure yet, but I just got so excited. We have a bunch of our stuff is in storage, and when I found the box of all the history books, I just wanted to grab them all. And so I'm not exactly sure beyond this. There's another one, 50 Famous Stories, that is also available, and like I said, some of these are in storage. Some of them I may have to purchase, and some of them are on Kindle. And I want to give you my tips for Kindle, but I don't have time in this video. So stay tuned or subscribe so that you don't miss that, because I have some great Kindle tips to get some free books on Kindle. And I want to show you guys that, because that is also where I'm going to be getting some of my resources, a lot of these actually. So that is what I'm doing. In addition, for my Form 3 kiddo, she is having some extra things tagged on. So she'll have Mystery of History and her Book of Centuries, which is where she just goes through kind of like a book, but a timeline, and puts in the events and some information about the events throughout history. So she'll be keeping that. She started it last year. And then she has a whole bunch of books that she's going to be reading through. Some of them, yeah, like I said, we'll do a big video on all the books, but I'll just give you a couple highlights. Boy of the Pyramid, Iliad, Odyssey, Ben-Hur, Twice Freed, some Christian heroes books. So we'll do a whole different video for that, and I can show you more in depth, but that just kind of gives you an idea. So science, I really wasn't sure where I was going to go with science. Looking at Ambleside had a lot of chemistry kind of aspects for the age group that I was looking for, and I really wasn't sure where to go. I was planning to kind of go that direction, and I shared with you guys a video where I was talking about it, and I wasn't sometimes I've talked about this before, but sometimes we just have to trust God, and God is going to guide and lead us. So what I found that I wanted for my oldest daughter, who wants to be a midwife and is just itching to start learning about that, was I decided to get for her Apologia Anatomy, which I have here. It's Exploring Creation. This one I actually, again, God provides. I actually did not have this, and I happened to be at a friend's house who had it, and she's letting us borrow it for the school year. So thank you so much, special friend. And I am excited for that. So she is going to be diving into this on her own. This is a new thing for her, doing science completely independent. But I mean, she's 13. She's 8th grade. She's ready. But she is going to dive into this on her own. I like this series a lot. I've used this series in the past for the astronomy unit. And so I am really excited about this. And yeah, I think she's really going to get a lot out of it. It does incorporate God and biblical aspects, which is what I really like about it. So I am really happy about this. Along with this, the same day that I got this from a friend, we just happened to be having a little play date, a little visit, and the same day I had run by a thrift store and I found another book that I was seeking and hoping to use. Again, I told you, God provides. So she is also going to be using this alongside that, Galen and the Gateway to Medicine. I just thought it would be a good one for her to use. We're starting at the beginning of history. She wants to learn about this kind of field, and this is both of those in one. So she's going to use this. This won't take her any time at all to go through at all. She's a quick reader, and so she'll enjoy this. But I was excited. And again, like I said, God provides. So I really wasn't sure what to do with my Form 2 kiddos. Okay, so I have my 6th grader and my 5th grader. I was kind of toying with several different options, and a few days before I picked up these, I was at another thrift store, and I kid you not, I had already planned to get the Apologia Anatomy book. I was at another thrift store, and they had this book for $1.99, and so again, I feel like God is just really leading us to this year. And it is Exploring Creation. This is also Apologia with Zoology 1. This was like the bird book. Okay, this one's all about birds and flying creatures. You're going to see in a few minutes why it is so interesting that God provided this exact one on that exact time, because we're going to be doing some more stuff with birds that I had already thought about doing. And so when I saw this, I knew I had to grab it. It's the same science field, or not field, but publisher as the other one I had already wanted to use, and it's the same topic as something that we're doing in nature study. So it all just ties in. I love when God provides these little things, and it just shows how much he's working in our lives. So I am excited about that. So we're going to be doing this one. I'm excited for this. This is going to be my 6th and 5th grader. They're going to go through this one together, and I think they're really going to enjoy it. I flipped through it a little bit, and I think they're really going to enjoy it. So that is that. Okay, so for my Form 1 kiddos, I have several things we're doing. Okay, for that age, they're so little that they just want to know everything and do everything. And so that's what we're going to do. We used My Father's World in the past. When we use it, they did not have this book. But then later, a couple years later, they came out with this book, and it is like an awesome godsend book that kind of takes their whole kindergarten curriculum, which each letter in My Father's World for kindergarten is paired up with a science topic. Okay, so as they learn the letter, they learn the science. So for example, S is for sun, and then they learn all the words for S, and they're learning to read, and it all pairs together, right? It's a really great program. This is all of those science topics in one book, and I am excited to pull this out yet again. This will be another time that I'm using this, and I'm excited for it. My 3rd grader actually did this book when he was in kindergarten, and he won't remember a lot of it, but it's one of those books that there's always something else they can learn. So it has the little topics. Each topic is a 2-page spread. It's super simple. Apple, this is all about the apple, the parts. Here it's got like a little Bible verse that goes with it. Here it tells you all about the apple, how God created different kinds, and just so good, and it's perfect for that age group. If I stay in Jesus, I will have much fruit. So each one, it has the Bible verse from the Bible, and then kind of an abbreviated one that they can learn as well. These are all so familiar to me, and I remember when we were doing them, it was such a fun time, and we did so many little hands-on things that went with these that I just found on Pinterest or wherever. And I think it's just so good. It's so good. So we will start with this, and then we will continue with just little unit studies. I have a whole bunch of the little $5 Usborne books. I don't like a lot of Usborne, but I do like these books. And each book has a different animal. A lot of them pair up with these. So we may do a 2-week study on a particular thing, or a 3-week study, whatever. Just kind of letting it flow naturally. I like doing it that way. I like letting God lead, and if we take a rabbit trail, we take a rabbit trail. If I find something fun to go with it, we do that, or we don't, whichever. And so that's what we're doing for science. Okay, the next one is geography. So I've already done huge, thorough, multiple videos on geography and what we do in geography, but we're going to keep that exactly the same. So I'm not going to share too much. I'll show it pretty quickly, but we use the Voice of the Martyrs magazine. It's free. It comes to your home. I will link these videos below so you can find them. And in addition with that, it tells us all the things about like people and missionary stories that are going on around the world. We locate the country, we do the whole thing, and read the stories. Then we use these 3 books, which I'll go through quickly. Like I said, if you want a more in-depth of how this works, I do have multiple videos on this, and I will link them below. But I use these books here, Material World, so we're going to continue these, and with the Voice of the Martyrs magazine, Window on the World, which is the one that tells you biblically and how you can pray for them, what their faith is like in that country. This is like my favorite one. And then the What the World Eats, both a little dated. I wish they weren't so dated. This one in Material World, but they are. But just shows you what the people eat, how much it costs in their home for a week, I believe it is. And how much food they buy in their home, and how they, we are so blessed in America that we don't realize how blessed we are. And so we're going to continue that. It's so good for the kids. And we started this book with my Form 1. That's for Form 2 and 3, by the way, because my oldest teams up with us on that. And she's also going to be doing a bunch of these Christian biographies, and they do focus on around the world. We have the whole set actually, and she's picked out several that she's going to do. I think she's going to do one a month or something, and so she's going to be doing those as well. For Form 1 Geography, we started this book last year. Really enjoyed it. Each 2-page spread goes through a child in another place, and we would, again, locate it on the map. We would read all about it, and then we would do, we would pick one of the things, like one of the animals from the page, and I would get online on Art Hub for Kids on YouTube, and we would type that in, whatever animal it was, and they would draw it in their journal with the name of the country. So super simple for them. Now, we didn't finish this book. We don't have much to go, but we didn't finish it. So I think we're going to finish this first. And then I'm either going to go to my Children of the World book, maybe, if I can find it. It's in storage. Or I also have these books here, which I am excited to dive into. These are missionary stories, but they are picture book versions, and they're perfect for that age group. They're a good length, and they have the same kind of stories as these, but they're for little ones. So they would fit more easily. We could read the whole book in one sitting, and then we could draw the country or something from the country or whatever. So that is what we're going to be doing. We have multiples of these. I have a whole collection of them, and we're going to be doing them. Now this lasts for a while because it's like only once a week that we do this. In addition to that, though, I do have some other resources. For example, we have this one here, which is by, who's this by? Christian Light Publications, which is a little boy named Mario. And we have done this book in the past, but my little ones don't remember it. So we might do these. These are actually longer books than you think. But they are about another country. They're Christian based. This is part 1, Belizean boy, and then this is part 2, and his friends. And it's just their little adventures in Belize. And they're super cute. I love them. We've done them, like I said, in the past, but not with this group of kiddos that I have. I have some other things that we also might use, some other books kind of like these. The Twin Stories by Lucy Fitch Perkins are available on Kindle, and I think for free. And they are also a good one. There's Holland, the Dutch twins. They're all about a set of twins. And it's boy-girl twins that are about 5 to 8 or 10 years old, and we've done several of them. They are written back in, I think, the 1800s is when they were written, maybe, or early 1900s, so they might have some language, so they're good for read-alouds because you can edit as you go, but or explain as you go, whichever. And but we've done let's see, we've done Japanese twins, we've done Dutch twins, we've done Irish twins. I think we've done another one. I can't remember, but they are really cute. They're really good. So we might do some of those as well. Just as we finish things up, we just kind of go to the next thing. So I don't necessarily have it completely planned. We just, as we start getting close to the end of the book, I find something new. So that's what we do. Oh, I may also add in for geography on my Form 2 and 3 kiddos, the book by C.C. Long, Home Geography Primary Grades, which is free on Kindle. Again, watch my Kindle video. I will show you guys that. And that is by through Ambleside is where we saw that recommended. And so we might do some of that. That geography is more like the types of geography, or like northwest, southeast, that kind of stuff, or like types of landforms, that kind of thing. So we may do a little bit of that, but I really, for geography, like to focus on this kind of stuff, like missionaries, Christ, the world, their cultures, that kind of stuff. But we probably will do a little bit of that as well. Okay. The next one is nature studies. Nature study we do all together, everybody in the family together. And I was telling you guys, the bird book for Apologia, the Exploring Creation with Flying Creatures, was going to pair it perfectly. And it's because we're doing the Burgess Book of Birds. And I had already planned that when I found this other book. And so I just love that it all just went together perfectly. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. We are going to be doing that with Simple Studies, which I absolutely love and have raved about in the past. So if you haven't used Simple Studies, I do recommend it. I have a video below if you want to look into it. There's also a link below, because I do love it so much that I have partnered with them, and they give me a little bit of credit for sharing it with you guys and letting you know about them. But as an honest mom and homeschool mom, it is something I truly, truly love. And we've been using it all summer with Among the Meadow Creatures, and now, or Among the Meadow People. And now we're going to be using it with Burgess Book of Birds, which I'm excited about. So they have things that go along with that, different things that you can get. And so I'm excited for that. Next is literature. So I'm going to do separate videos for my Form 2 and 3 kiddos. Yeah, but for my Form 1 guys, some of the things that I'm looking at for literature is one of my absolute favorites, Millie Molly Mandy storybook. I absolutely adore this one so much, and it's just super cute. We're definitely going to be doing this. However, I do have 2 of my Form 1 kiddos are boys, and they may be a little bored with a Millie Molly Mandy book. So we're going to also be doing this one here. This was another favorite that we did when my girls and my oldest son were very small. Adventures of Raggedy Ann and Andy. I do have it here in paperback, but it's also, again, on my Kindle for free. And I'm excited because that is one that is like a classic, and it does fit well for girls and boys. It's just cute little stories about their toys, kind of like pre-Toy Story, where their toys come alive when they're not watching and they have little adventures. It's just so cute. Another one I have, which is, the twin stories that I just talked about with Lucy Fitch Perkins. This one, Kindergarten Stories and Morning Talks, it is in storage. I know right where it is. I just didn't grab it before I made this video, but I am excited for this one. This one goes week by week in each month, starting right after Labor Day. So this one is going to pair up perfectly with the time period, I guess. And so, like, our time of the year, the seasons. And I like that a lot, that it has little short stories and poems and little things. Everyday Graces is another one that I absolutely adore, and I saw it in storage and grabbed it as well, but I don't have it here for this video. But that's another one that I really, really adore, and it is all about manners, and it pulls little clips and little snippets of poems or from books, from even classic books like Anne of Green Gables and things, and has little blurbs or little chapters that you read that, and then it all talks about a certain manner or habit or something. So I'm really excited about this. I've used it in the past, and I've been so sad that I haven't had it for the past couple years. So I am excited that now we have it back in storage, and so I'm excited for that. Yeah, I have some others. I don't have them here, but I do have some others, and I'm probably going to be using just random picture books as well, because all of that is exposure, and so that's what we're going to be looking at. I'll talk more about what we're doing for like math and phonics and those kinds of things in a future video, so look for that probably next week. Okay, so the next thing is something brand new that we are adding this year because we're doing Ambleside, or more of Ambleside. We are adding Shakespeare and Plutarch, which I have nothing about. I don't know much about Plutarch at all, so it is completely brand new. But my oldest was really curious about Shakespeare last year and really wanted to learn more about it, and so we're going to be starting that this year. And you know, I grab things all the time when I go to thrift stores. If I see things that might fit, even if it's not at the exact time where we are right now, if I think there's something for the future, I still grab them. And so this is a book that I happened to grab at a thrift store year or so ago, and it is this one. It's the landmark book for Will Shakespeare and the Globe Theater. So we are going to start off with this book. Okay, we're going to be doing this. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do 4-day week or 5-day week, and I really wanted to do 5-day, but my kiddos really wanted 4-day. And thanks to one of my awesome viewers, you suggested that we do 4 days one day or 1 week and 5 days the next week, and we use that 5th day as whatever. And so we're using that 5th day every other week will be our Shakespeare and Plutarch week. So how am I going to fit Shakespeare and Plutarch into that? I will tell you. Ambleside does 3 Shakespeare plays per term or per school year. So 1 per term, right? 3 terms. So we just may not get to all 3. That's okay. I've kind of looked at the 2 that I probably am going to do, which is As You Like It and Macbeth, I think it was. And the other one that they have recommended, I think, was Cymbeline, and we're probably going to skip that one because I see that it's not available on in a full-length version by No Fear Shakespeare. So No Fear Shakespeare is something that I want to do because I'm going to be reading the annotated versions for my kiddos, okay? And I'll show you which books I'm going to be using. But for my Form 3 girl, I really think that she would get more out of it if she reads the full-length play. And what I like about No Fear Shakespeare is it says, I haven't gotten it yet, but what it says is that they have the full-length side by side with it's either explanations or modern English or something, so that she can see it together and can read the original with a modern translation, or maybe it's explanations. I'm not sure which, but it's No Fear Shakespeare. But I saw it wasn't available for Cymbeline, so I'm probably going to skip that one this year. We're going to do this first, and then we'll just kind of see where the year goes, how much time this takes. I don't know. This might be the whole first term. I don't know. But I am excited to read through this. It's just kind of like a little biography, I think. And my oldest daughter has actually already read this, so she is either going to get it ×2 or she may sit out for this part, but that's okay either way. So for Shakespeare, I have 2 choices I'm looking at. This is the one I already had. This is the Tales from Shakespeare by Charles and Mary Lamb, and this is the illustrated edition. I do recommend this one because it is beautiful. If you are also looking at it. So it has a ton of books in here. So obviously these are abbreviated versions, annotated versions. And yeah, so here's all the plays that are included. And I am excited. We've got Tempest, Midsummer Night's Dream, Winter's Tale, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It. It goes on and on and on. Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, King Lear, Othello. It just goes on and on. So these are not long versions. These are very short versions. And that's how I'm going to fit it in. So we're basically looking at getting an introduction, I think, is what we're going to be doing. And so we will learn about Shakespeare, and then we will read probably 2 of his plays as a group, the annotated versions. And then there's also the one Shakespeare Stories for Girls and Boys is by Nesbit, and I actually got that one too, and so because I found it for $1, and it's also available on Kindle for free. So I don't know. I may do one or the other. I'm not really sure yet which one, if I'm going to use this one or the one by Nesbit. I'm not sure. But I do have access to both. And then, but for my Form 3, like I said, I really wanted her to do the No Fear Shakespeare. And she is a huge reader, okay? If she wasn't a big reader, I wouldn't worry about it, but she's a big reader. She loves to read, and she reads quickly, and so she will be excited to have this challenge. So for my next kiddo that's coming up after her, my 6th grader is not as an ambitious of a reader, so I probably won't have the same requirement for her. But that's what I love about homeschool, is that we can customize it for each kiddo to what fits them individually, and so that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, so Plutarch, I don't know. I saw on Ambleside they had a link to something called Boys and Girls Plutarch, or Plutarch for the Boys and Girls or something. We're probably going to be using that. I may also get the full length, but that's kind of an abbreviated version, which it said is better if you have all ages. You're doing it together like a family study like we will be. So we will probably be doing something like that, especially for our first time, because I just really don't know what to expect at all. So we will see what happens when we start diving in. Okay, so that brings me to Bible study. So Bible for my youngest group, Form 1, I picked up this one. It wasn't one that I was hoping to get, but it was the right price at a thrift store. It was available, and so that's the one I went with. This is Nelson's Children Bible, and I am excited to go through. We're just going to start at the beginning and make our way through. I have several accompaniment books, like I have, I'll just put them here. I should have brought them in here, but I have several books that we'll probably use to go along with these to kind of just enrich it a little bit more. And then I also have the ABC Bible verses, which is probably going to be our Bible verse book for memory verses. And then Form 2 and 3. I really want them to go through Bible Project, which is an app, and it has these little line drawings, and it goes through the Bible with these little pictures, and it explains it. It's so good, and we've used it in the past. My oldest girls have watched them, and I want to get back into that and do some more of that. And then as a family, I want to watch the Chosen series. So this is a great time to start it. We're studying this time period in history. It's a great time to do it as a group. So we are going to start really diving into Chosen, the series. I know there's some things about, oh, it's not this or it's not that, but we're going to be pairing it with the Bible, and I think it's going to be fine. Those three oldest are probably all going to have their own devotional, which I am looking at still a couple different options. So I will, when I get those finalized, I will let you guys know what we're going to do for them. But I'm thinking I'm going to have each one of them have their own individual Bible study separate from the whole family as a group. So that basically wraps up all of the things that we are doing as a group, all of our family subjects. I hope this was not too confusing, and I will do several more videos, guys, to show you guys our independent studies, our reading list, and the Kindle options that I found that are so exciting to get free books, and a couple of other things, our schedule and all that. So, in our morning time, because we still have all of those topics that we also throw in, but we have a little time. So I wanted to get this out so you guys could see right away, because I know a lot of you guys are already starting. Some of you, I think, are starting last week, maybe? I don't know. But this is what we're doing, and I love seeing what other moms are doing too, because it does give you those ideas for the future or to add in as you go. So thanks, guys, for watching. If you haven't already, do subscribe. Do check out Simple Studies, because they are so awesome, and I promise they're worth it. And yeah, if you haven't already, leave me a comment. Let me know, guys, what you're going to be doing, or if you're using anything that's the same. I would love to know that as well. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you next time.